So does Sports KPI cover any individual sports on its own?
We are looking at something to do with tennis recently. We are working on trying to look at doing a lot of research on how tennis analytics is being done. Okay. Previously, we had worked on tennis to get some matches, look at some serve analysis and other things. But now we are actually looking at how things works in a European level or ATP or the Grand Slam levels, and how typically the academies have been doing it, and that's where individual sport can become up. That's where, as I said, the same thing applies if it's a younger kid. You can work on more technically the serves, the returns, their forehands, volleys, and everything. As you go higher, you work on the strategy of the game. How can you win a point, right? So how do you put a tactics or a strategy to win a point? Where should you hit those serves to? So those kind of things have been done more on a strategic point of view also. So something on tennis. We've also done a couple of experiment or understanding on a couple of sports to understand how it's been done. One is athletics, wherein like a high jump or a long jump, what are the ways it can be done. But I haven't gone into a lot more at a scale level, but we understand at least how athletics can be done. Second is something which I explored myself was on rowing. Had been visited to one of the rowing academy and then spoken to a couple of Dronacharya coaches and understand what goes into rowing. They have a great understanding and knowledge of the sport, but how can technology can be useful is something which can be brought in there. But again, we haven't gone ahead into a much bigger scale over there, but that's very niche Olympic sport, and then we can help them in doing it. But yes, individual game has a lot of information which can be worked upon.
So I wanted to know if you would look into individual sports, is there a different way to approach them as compared to a team sport?
Yeah, so there is a lot of challenges in the individual sports because one of the biggest thing is like who's going to pay, who's going to consume this analysis. Okay, typically is it the coach, is it the player himself, or is it the federation who's going to invest on those such of things, right? Second is it also has to be more individualistic, understanding the coaches, understanding the player, and have that kind of information being done for the players. And it's always good if it can be done at a much more lower level of the pyramid, where you
Yeah.
can work with academies in those individual sports. That let's say if it's a badminton or tennis, you can work with academies and the coaches, and you can start helping them out. But again, if it's a Olympic, like a wrestler, boxer, or it could be something like a rowing person or a tennis, badminton, these things also get in. But there's a challenge because in a team sport, it could be the management would pay up or take care of all the costing, right?
Yeah.
Individual doesn't have to pay anything. It all comes into it. But in individual sport, it has to be each individual, and they look at what is the needs and necessity for them, right? Either it has to go to the player, or to the coach, or to the federation, and how all the things can be worked out over there.